Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. I know, your exams are just around the corner, and civics can feel a bit tricky, but don't you worry one bit. In the next few minutes, we're going to make this chapter, Grassroots Democracy, so simple, so easy, you'll remember it forever. Let's do this. Let's start with this beautiful thought from Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "The real India lives in its villages." And even today, so many years later, it's absolutely true. The real heart, the soul of our nation, it's in our villages.
And just how many villages are we talking about? Over 6 lakh. Just try to picture that number. More than 600,000 villages, each one with its own people, its own unique challenges, its own stories. It's a huge, huge scale.
So that brings us to a big question, right? Who actually takes care of all these places? I mean, if a village road is broken, or the school needs a new roof, who do they go to? Can they run to Delhi for every small problem? No way. That's just impossible. Well, the answer, my friends, is this super important term, Panchayati Raj. And what does it mean? It's just a simple system of self-government. Basically, it means the villagers themselves get to make decisions for their own village. It brings democracy right to their doorstep. Now, listen up. This slide is maybe the most important slide for your exams. A question on this is almost a Pakka guarantee. The Panchayati Raj is a 3-tier system, kind of like a pyramid. At the very bottom, we have the Gram Panchayat for the village. Then in the middle, the Panchayat Samiti for a group of villages or a block. And right at the top, the Zila Parishad for the whole district. Remember it from the bottom up: village, block, district. Got it? Okay, so let's zoom in and get into the details. We'll start at the bottom of that pyramid, the first and most important level, the Gram Panchayat. This is the foundation, where all the real action happens, because it's closest to the people.
So how does a Gram Panchayat even work? It's actually really simple. All the adults in the village who can vote, they form something called the Gram Sabha. You can think of them as the bosses. They're the ones who elect the Panchayat members and the head, who is called the Sarpanch. And you know what's really amazing? We're seeing more and more powerful women becoming Sarpanches and leading their villages. It's just incredible.
All right, let's put the textbook aside for a second and talk about some real-life superheroes. These are Sarpanch who did such amazing work that they completely changed their villages. These stories really show you what a panchayat is supposed to do. First, meet Nageshwar Kumle from Maharashtra, a transgender person who became the Sarpanch of their village. And their motto was so simple and so beautiful: Lok Seva, Gram Seva. It means service to the village is service to the public. It just shows that in a true democracy, anyone who wants to serve can become a leader. Next up, check this out. Vandana Bahadur Mada from Madhya Pradesh. She was a tribal woman who broke all the barriers to become the first female Sarpanch in her village. And what did she fight for? 2 really important things: getting girls into school and making sure everyone had clean toilets. It just proves that one person with courage can change everything. And this story is just brilliant. Paparao Bhaguji Pawar's village in Maharashtra was always facing drought. It was dry and struggling. So what did he do as Sarpanch? He used science. He introduced rainwater harvesting, planted lakhs and lakhs of trees, and turned his village into a green, wealthy paradise. He even won the Padma Shri for it. How amazing is that? You see, these heroes didn't just build roads. They also thought about the future. And the future is the children. So this brings us to a topic that's all about you guys. Do you think kids should have a say in how their villages run? Well, a lot of panchayats do. Let's talk about this amazing idea of child-friendly panchayats. So what do these special panchayats do? Well, as you can see, they actually hold meetings just for kids, called Bal Sabhas, to listen to your ideas. They work really hard to stop child labor and child marriage, make sure every single child is in school, and build safer schools with clean kitchens for your midday meals. This isn't just an idea, it's actually happening in places like Sikkim. You've all seen those viral videos on Instagram and YouTube Shorts, right? Well, imagine something like that in real life, but for student government. In Rajasthan, they created something called a children's parliament. Kids just like you from 8 to 14 years old were elected, they formed a cabinet, and they helped run schools and solve problems in their community. I mean, how cool is that? That's real student power. All right, so we've seen how powerful the Gram Panchayat is, but all these villages don't exist in a bubble, right? They need to connect to the bigger picture. So let's zoom out and climb up our pyramid to see how the block and district levels connect all the dots.
Think of it this way. The Panchayat Samiti at the block level is like a coordinator. It takes the plans from all the different Gram Panchayats and links them together. Then, the Zila Parishad at the top district level is like the big boss. It looks at all the plans from the blocks, makes one big plan for the whole district, and then gives out the government money for the big projects. See? It all connects.
Now, a really crucial part of this whole system is making sure it's fair, to make sure everyone's voice is heard, especially people who were left out in the past. Our Constitution says that 1/3 of all the seats in these panchayats must be reserved for women. And there are also reservations for other disadvantaged groups. This way, the leadership really looks like the people it serves. Okay, everyone, deep breath. Let's switch into full-on exam mode. Time for a super fast revision of the most important points. These are the kinds of questions that will almost for sure come in your paper, so listen up. Here it is, the most common question you can get. What are the 3 levels or the 3 tiers of the Panchayati Raj system? Can you remember that pyramid we talked about? And the answer is, number 1, Gram Panchayat at the village level, number 2, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and number 3, Zila Parishad at the district level. Remember to write it in that order from bottom to top to get your full marks. Easy peasy. Okay, now for a question that tests your understanding a little more. Why is this whole system so important for a democracy like India? Think about everything we just talked about. Why does it matter so much? Here's the perfect answer you can write. It's important for 2 big reasons. 1, it lets normal people like you and me actually take part in the decisions that affect our daily lives. And 2, it makes sure that the government schemes and money actually reach the people in the villages who need it the most. So, to sum it all up, just remember these 3 things. Panchayati Raj is all about direct participation, local development, and self-governance. If you remember these 3 points, you've understood the whole chapter. Simple, right? And before we finish, I have a little question for you to think about. After hearing about heroes like Vandana Mada and Paparao Pawar, what qualities do you think a person needs to be a really great Sarpanch? Honesty? Courage? Good ideas? Think about it. All the very, very best for your exams, my dear students. I know you are all going to do wonderfully.